Hello, so it's your guy Joshua Victor back on the channel. I get this question a lot. Can the 5,000 watt silver crest blender be used to make Poundo yam? Okay, I know a lot of Nigerians like Poundo yam. Poundo yam has caused a lot of problem or troubles in the family. Your husband gets back from work and he wants to eat Poundo yam, and you cannot make it because it's stressful using the conventional method to make it. And so people who has all these commercial blender like the Silver Crest 5,000 watt, the fuel, or they will always ask, can this Silver Crest blender be used to make Poundo yam? So I'm gonna address that question today, using an illustration. So I would say yes and no. So if you watch this YouTube video till the end, then you're gonna get the answer I'm gonna give you, because I said yes and then no to that answer. So you are going to find the answer out by yourself. Let me start with this illustration first. You know what we call towing? Like, let's say you have a pencil light Camry, the normal pencil light Camry, and then the car is bad, okay? Then you need to tow that vehicle. Now, this is what will happen. If you want to tow that vehicle, then assuming you have a big for nothing Camry, the big for nothing Camry, okay? So if you want to use the big for nothing Camry to tow that vehicle, it's possible because the big for nothing Camry has a bigger engine compared to the pencil light Camry. But the point is, if you keep using the big for nothing Camry to tow every other vehicle that has issue, then you will be stressing the big for nothing Camry and you're gonna spoil it in little or no time. There is a vehicle, they call it a towing van, that is made specially for this function. So if you're improvising, you can use your big for nothing vehicle to tow that pencil light Camry that is bad at the moment, just to make sure you don't have issues on the way. So it's the same thing with blender. Now, the blender, as the name implies, it's meant to blend solid food and liquid food together to form a consistency that you will appreciate. For example, if you're making smoothie, that is what a blender is basically best for. If you're making soup or puri, that is what a blender is useful for. But if you're looking into making food items like poundo yam, the mixer or the food processor was specifically designed to do or handle this kind of job. So a Silvercrest blender of 5,000 watt will be, as I would put it, improvising. It can handle that, but that's not what it was meant or designed for. And if you look at, let me tell you why. If you look at the Silvercrest blender, let's take um the jar for instance. If you see the way the jar is made, or you can call it the pitcher, that's the original name for it. It's called the pitcher. Most of them are made in a cone form, and so when you're blending, it forms this vortex. You know what vortex means? Like kind of current, such that when when this process is going on, those food items that had not been properly blended will go down in the process of the vortex being created by the conical shape of a blender. It will go down and they will keep blending until you have that fine consistency. Like example is smoothie. Okay. So again, if you look at the blender, a blender has just one steel blade. Okay. So that blade, and then the shape of the pitcher is not that much. It's small enough that the blade inside the pitcher can reach out to every part of the food particles you put, and then it will do that job for you. Whereas if you look at yam, for instance, if you look at the consistency at which yam poundo is made, it forms like a dough kind of. Okay, you know what dough means? So just check out what the dough means. Like that consistency is too heavy for the blender to carry out that specific job. Sorry. So a food processor or a mixer, let me take a food processor for example. It has the blade, like two of it, one down, maybe one in the middle, and then one up, such that it can. And then, if you look at the ball where the pitcher will sit for a processor, it's kind of wider. So that gives that area of activities where the poundo can be made comfortably with the food processor or the mixer. So I would say, from my experience or from the illustration I've given you, you should have your answer there. I said before that it's a yes or a no. Now there are different routes to uh get to a destination. Okay, so if you want to go to Lagos from Calabar, there are different routes you can take, and then you still get to Lagos. But some of the routes you're deciding to take might be longer or some be shorter. So if you want to make poundo yam with a blender, this is what I would tell you. The blender 5000 watt silver crest is powerful enough for you to make yam powder. And do you know that with yam powder you can make yam poundo? So how do you even make yam powder? If you put your yam under intense temperature, let's say you put it inside an oven to dry the excess water, the yam slices you made will become dry because the water has been evaporated. And so it's easier for your silver crest blender with the twinkle of an eye to turn that evaporated liquid out of your yam into powder. And from powder, you can make your poundo yam because they sell a lot of yam powder, around. So how did they make it? It's through this process. And the silver crest blender, because it has that commercial capacity, it can turn the yam that have been evaporated into powder, which you can use to make your poundo. So ahead of time, you can even evaporate this yam, which will increase the shelf life of the yam. And then with your silver crest blender, you can turn it into powder, which when your husband gets back, you can make your poundo yam with it. So you see, it's yes and it's no. But all of these appliances have their specific function. The only thing is you would only be improvising with one another. But there are certain work or job that they are best suited for. If you want me to shoot a video on which food appliances you can use for a particular kitchen activities, then like this video, comment on in the comment section, and I will shoot that video right away. Please don't forget to like my video. I will be back. I remain Joshua Victor Emmanuel. Peace out. I love you guys.